You're against illegal immigration?
Who is not?
Poland is at a political crossroads.
If we are accepting someone from outside at the cost of our basis, cultural basis, this is disaster.
The ruling Law and Justice Party faces a general election on Sunday and has called a referendum on illegal migration.
I think borders should not exist.
After the EU proposed a quota system to relocate migrants around Europe.
I had some migrants here on the farm. I felt unsafe.
Why is Peace calling a referendum on illegal migration?
Because this is one of the main topics, not only in Poland but also in Europe, especially because of the hybrid attack on our border from east, and this is purposely made by Putin and Lukashenko. If we are accepting someone from outside at the cost of our basis, cultural basis, this is disaster. It's a simple way to make war, domestic war, and this is stupid. And of course, politicians are sometimes very stupid, or even being aware of this, that this is stupid. They are using this tool because they want to be liberal.
After the Belarusian dictator Alexander Lukashenko threatened to flood Europe with migrants, in November 2021, thousands of people from the Middle East attempted to enter Poland via Belarus.
Can you describe the situation on the Polish border last year?
W 2022 roku my mieliśmy 15 700 prób nielegalnego przekraczania granicy z Białorusi do Polski. To jest też czas, kiedy powstała bariera i fizyczna, i elektroniczna na granicy polsko-białoruskiej. W tej chwili mamy tych prób już ponad 22 000, ale to też dzięki temu, że identyfikujemy wszystkie zdarzenia na granicy polsko-białoruskiej. Również te zdarzenia, kiedy osoby podchodzą pod barierę, ale wycofują się na terytorium Białorusi, oraz te osoby, które zostały zatrzymane już na terytorium Polski.
I went to the Polish-Belarusian border to find out how locals plan to vote in the upcoming referendum.
So you're going to vote in this referendum against illegal immigration?
Yes.
Do you think that illegal immigration is a problem in Poland?
At this moment, no. But if you look, for example, for French or for Great Britain, I think it's a not good situation. When the people from Africa came, these people don't want assimilate, for example, with Polish people or French.
How will you vote in the referendum on illegal immigration?
No przeciw będę, żeby nie przyjmować.
Do you think that Poland should accept quotas, migrant quotas from the European Union?
Nie, absolutnie. Uważam, że Unia powinna zmienić kierunek. Nie relokacja, a deportacja.
How are you going to vote in the referendum on illegal migration?
Oczywiście odpowiedź jest tylko jedna, nie wpuszczać i tak jak jest teraz bezpiecznie, żeby to zostało.
What do you say to the people who plan to boycott this referendum?
Uważam, że to nie jest poważne i rozsądne. Mieszkamy tu bardzo blisko, znamy tę sytuację lepiej. Mamy tutaj teraz 16 km od granicy i teraz czujemy się bezpiecznie, w miarę możliwości.
To find out about one local's experience of the migrant crisis,
Well, this is the Vanjin tea with some dried fruit.
I went to meet Joanna, who lives near the Polish-Belarusian border.
Have you felt unsafe before living so close to the border?
Before the crisis, no, never. I used to leave my cars open, my house open. But of course, during the crisis, I felt unsafe, yes. I had some migrants here on the farm, and I've seen traces of people passing. So some sandwiches that were thrown, some clothing, jackets and so on.
There are some people in the West who say that borders are racist. What do you say to that argument?
I cannot even discuss that. You shot me with this question. I mean, I'm sorry for laughing, but I cannot take this question seriously. How many millions of people they died defending their borders in the past? And if your ancestors were building prosperity of your country, you have the right to decide who you want to share it with, this prosperity.
How will you be voting in this illegal migration referendum?
I will be voting against.
There are some people in Poland who say that they're going to refuse to vote in this referendum because they say the question is biased. What do you say to that?
Well, everyone has a choice, of course. If someone doesn't want to vote, it's a free country, so it's not obligatory, of course. I believe that most of the people, though, they believe that we have the right to protect our borders and that we are completely against the illegal migration. And at least here, I'm sure that in the big cities, people might think differently, you know.
The referendum has drawn criticism from the opposition party, who claim the question is biased. Polls are due to be asked, do you support the admission of thousands of illegal immigrants from the Middle East and Africa under the forced relocation mechanism imposed by European bureaucracy?
Some cynics have said that PiS called this referendum to merely increase voter turnout in the general election that's being held on the same day. What do you say to that accusation?
It's a regular way of making a referendum that it can be combined with election if there is an election. It's easier, it's cheaper, and also it's also a matter of mobilization of society, of public mobilization. I mean that it's normal. This is politics. Of course, this is the political issue, because we have to say if we want to accept this danger or if we want to defend our country.
To gain another perspective, I went to Warsaw to interview members of the public. There's a referendum on illegal migration coming up in Poland next week. What do you think about that?
That's just for the party that lead now. They let a lot of immigrants from Africa and from Asia to come to Poland.
Are you afraid of immigrants coming to Poland?
You know, I speak to a lot of people who went to Germany, to France, to Sweden, and they said, really, that is a big problem with immigrants.
Will you be voting in the referendum on illegal migration?
No,
Why not?
because the questions proposed in that referendum are ridiculous.
You're against illegal immigration?
Who is not?
I probably won't vote at this referendum. I just don't want to.
Can you tell us who you'll be voting for?
I have no idea yet. Do you know why? Because all the parties that are participating in that election are either socialist or Russian, so to speak.
And will you be voting on the referendum on illegal migration?
No, I'm not going to vote in that referendum at all.
Why?
Because it is flawed. The questions are flawed, so I'm just boycotting it.
What do you think about illegal migration generally?
I think borders should not exist.
Really?
Yes.
That's quite controversial.
I'm a liberal, as I said. Borders are artificial.
What do you think about the referendum on illegal migration?
If someone is a true war refugee, absolutely fine. And in the USA and the southern border, you have a terrible problem of illegal immigration on a massive scale. That would never happen here, I don't think, but I am concerned that if this referendum isn't passed to sort of just try to stop a forced immigration by the EU, that can cause problems that we can't anticipate now.
Many people say that the referendum is a cynical ploy. The question is biased.
Well, the question of bias is decided by each individual person. I can't say what's biased and what's not. For me, it's not biased. It's fairly clear cut.
As Europe faces pressures on its borders and from integrating existing migrants, Poland's referendum will likely serve as a firm rejection of the liberal border policies that have led to conflict and division across the continent.